Hello, Calaveras County, and welcome to another edition of Mondo Calaveras. I'm your host, Mike Taylor. Now, if we're in the middle of summertime in Calaveras County, there's one big event we have to keep on our calendars, and that is Calaveras Has Talent. And my guests this time are from Calaveras Has Talent. We have Steve Baum, who helps run the whole thing, and we have Kailie Osborn, who won last year's Calaveras Has Talent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You bet. Now, Steve, first off, you guys kind of changed up how the auditions were handled this year for Calaveras Has Talent. How did that go?
Well, instead of before, we went to each area of the community and we would rent school halls and town halls and things and try to get out remotely to every community. And it was kind of time consuming when we got a lot of people in. And this year we decided to hold 2 live auditions. But additionally, we also had video auditions.
Sure.
And we've also expanded the show to include people outside of the county, into Valmy and Amador County. And so they were able to email their videos, and it was about a 60-40 mix of auditioners. 40 were live, and 60 actually came by video.
Wow, okay.
So it worked out pretty well. And we got to see some cool stuff.
Yeah? And about what's the percentage of Calaveras entrants since you opened up the pool?
It's at least 80%.
Oh, really?
75%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still Calaveras Has Talent.
Mostly Calaveras Has Talent, and it is. It's our fundraiser for music programs in Calaveras County.
Yeah, and getting to that, about how much has the event raised over the past few years?
I would say close estimates around $30,000.
Really? Wow.
This is our 4th year of doing it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
and is that mostly just from admission at the shows?
It's admission, sponsors, donations.
Oh, great.
We had some auctions, and so all those items kind of came in that way.
Added up. And what have you been able to do for school kids in the county?
So we've been able to provide funds for the teachers, the music teachers in the county, to buy supplies for their kids. There's always a clarinetist that needs a reed. There's always valve oil and things like that. But we've also been able to buy some big ticket items like a tuba, a sousaphone for...
Those aren't cheap.
No, they aren't cheap.
They are not.
It was funny that one of the tubas that we replaced was one I played when I was at Calaveras High School.
Did you really?
And it was 25 years old when I was there.
And so that means it was there when I was there.
Yes. Yeah, it was there a long time. Everybody saw that tuba.
Those old white sousaphones, they marched thousands of miles, I would wager. Right. So that's fantastic that you got to replace some of those.
Yes, that was good. And we've also taken a few instrument donations in.
Cool.
Guitars, trumpets, clarinets. And we've been able to pass them down to students in need that need them.
That's great.
So that's been a great, focus for us.
Well, that's a good help for kids because parents don't necessarily realize that buying a clarinet isn't cheap either.
No, it's not.
Even though a clarinet looks like a relatively simple instrument, they actually aren't.
Nope.
I can vouch for that. I played them when I was in high school.
Yep.
But being able to kind of even loan a kid an instrument to play while they're in school, I imagine, is just a really empowering, wonderful thing for them.
Yes, it is. It is. And it allows them to participate in the program, and it keeps the enrollment up in our music programs.
Sure.
Calaveras High School and Bret Harte High School have had years of having great bands and great music programs, and it's great to help continue those programs.
Help keeping them going with a brand new sousaphone.
Yep.
Now, Kailie, I've got to ask you, this process of auditioning and everything for Calaveras Has Talent seemed a little daunting, and you went through last year's, which was the sort of what I called the preliminaries, where we did those little kind of auditions at schools and such. Where did you actually audition?
I auditioned at the high school.
At Calaveras High?
Yeah, Calaveras.
Okay. And what did you perform for your audition?
I sang a song called 21 Guns by Green Day, and I played guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how was that audition process? And you also are auditioning this year. You're going to perform with your brother, right?
Yeah, my little brother.
What's your brother's name?
Ryan.
Ryan. And what are you guys doing this year?
I'm going to play the guitar for him, and he's going to sing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, so how did the audition work last year versus this year? Because this year you kind of walked into an empty room with some judges, right?
Actually, My brother auditioned over the video audition, so...
Oh, he did this
yeah,
year? Okay,
it was a
cool.
lot easier because, I was
Yeah.
trying to find time to go down to the high school.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then last year, as you got through the performing process, and we'll get to when the shows are this year, because they're coming up in a little bit, but what was kind of the most nerve-wracking part of the shows as they came up? Because last year we had like quarterfinals and then finals, right?
Yeah. I'd say probably like the finals because that was on the bigger stage and it was just like it felt a lot more real. I was more comfortable at Calaveras because I was used to performing on that stage.
Sure.
So.
And then the finals were over at Bret Hart.
Yeah.
And this was on the Bret Hart Theater stage. So
Yeah.
that does feel like a pretty big hall,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Even though it only seats about the same number of people as Calaveras
Yeah.
High, it looks that much bigger. And what did you sing last year?
The first half of the finals, I sang a song I wrote, and then the the last half, I sang a song called "Save Me a Spark" by Sleeping with Sirens, and I played ukulele for that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're a multi-stringed instrumentalist.
And I played piano, yeah.
Oh my gosh, even the big stringed instrument, huh? That's great. What inspired you with getting into music?
Honestly, it was kind of just a little fun thing that I thought I wasn't going to take seriously. Because I did choir, and I was like, oh, guitar sounds cool. And I had a little classical one that wasn't very good, and I practiced on that. And then I got an electric and stepped up to a better acoustic, and I just went from there.
So does the quality, because a lot of kids get that like Sears Roebuck guitar at Christmas time as a kind of a joke gift because grandma wants to get even with her kids. But I would imagine that quality of the instrument makes a difference to the musician who's playing it,
It definitely does, yeah.
Then it inspires you to do even better, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You mentioned writing songs. What inspires you doing that?
It's just kind of whatever I'm going through at the time or whatever, something that sticks in my memory. If I can get something good from it, then I try.
My favorite question to ask musicians who write music is kind of a what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And my question is, does a melody come to your head and then you start putting words to it? Or do you start working with some words and then think about setting a melody to it?
It's like half and half. Sometimes it's like, I'm singing in the shower and I just find some good words that go together. Or sometimes I'm messing around the guitar trying to learn some other song and I find chords that sound good together and I just go from there. Yeah.
That's neat. And have you written quite a few songs? Or?
Yeah, I have quite a few. Some of them are better than others. Some of them aren't completely finished yet.
Yeah, is it kind of the work is never done?
Yeah, it's weird because sometimes I get inspiration and I just finish it and pop it out. Other times it's just like I kind of lose it halfway through the song and it just sits there for a while until I can think of something.
So your brain picks up on it again, huh?
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's impressive too. Something about pulling a melody out of the air just seems kind of amazing to me. That's really cool. How did it get how was your original song received last year when you performed it?
I think I got good. I know my choir teacher was one of the judges, and she told me the next day when I went back to class, she was like, I can't get that song out of my head. It was so good.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And when they announced your name, was it, kind of a Miss America pageant moment? Did you expect you might win?
No, I thought Paul was going to win because he is so good. I love him, but I was surprised. I was really surprised.
Yeah, that's great. And then over this past year, you've actually become kind of an ambassador for Calaveras Has Talent, right?
Yeah. We performed at all the elementary schools, which is really cool to
really?
Get out and talk to the younger kids.
Mm-hmm. I bet that was pretty inspiring for them.
Yeah.
Something about seeing someone younger, closer to their age, showing up, right?
Yeah, quite a few of them came up afterwards and was like, wow, you're really good. And they asked me some questions about stuff, and my friend Brianna was there too, so they kind of talked to her a little bit, and we had a Q&A section at the end so they could ask us stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do you think you inspired some of them to audition this year?
Hopefully. I think this one girl came up and she was really shy, and she's like, I want to, but I'm really scared. And I was like, I know it's going to be scary because I had the worst stage fright too, but just keep on performing and it'll go away. It'll get better.
You kind of have to work through that stage fright, don't you? It's one of those things that's unforgiving. That audience is out there.
Yeah.
And honestly, and correct me if I'm wrong, but really the audience is more forgiving than we think when we're stepping out there, aren't they?
Yeah. It's just the nerves of oh my gosh, all these people are watching me.
That's great. Now, Steve, what kind of acts do we have coming for Calaveras?
Well, this year we've limited it to just musicians only.
Oh,
we have taken, we had a magician the first year. We've had dancers, and we've kind of narrowed it down. And what's interesting about the dancers is that 2 of the dancers that performed last year are singing this year.
Oh my gosh!
Show. And one of them was a prior winner, Briar Gibson. She won a couple years ago, youth category, and she is singing with her sister in the show.
Wow!
So I thought, wow, just a way to diversify their talent.
You bet, and a really multi-talented community, huh?
Yes, and it's really kind of cool that they're doing that. The ages are ranging from around 8, 9 years old, like her brother, and I think some performers are in their 60s this year.
Wow.
A couple years ago, we had a 80-year-old accordion player. So
sweet.
It really sweeps the whole county as far as age range. So we're able to divide it into 2 categories. You have an adult category and a youth category.
Youth category. And how old do the youths get? Is it like to 18? Or?
Usually 18, still in high school. 18 out of high school is where we kind of divide the line.
So once they've kind of graduated, they're an adult. Huh?
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Where do you see kind of the most promise? Is it in the young people that are performing, or do you see some stars out there among the adults?
It's I hate to say it's a giant funnel, but it's getting better and better every year.
Wow.
The talent that comes in is getting better and better and better.
Great.
So it's really interesting to see the growth of the program, and people say, hey, I can do that, and then they get out there and do it.
Sure. And so we don't forget to tell folks, when are the shows this year? Because all the shows are on basically one weekend,
One
right?
weekend.
Okay.
We're going to do them August 24th, 25th, and 26th, 3 days in a row. The first day on the 24th is from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and the second day and third day will be from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
And how it's going to go is the adults will perform one night, and the youth will perform the next day, or vice versa. And then we're going to have the so-called winners or advancers from each group, and they'll play on the Sunday show and matinee show, and that'll determine the final.
Where are those shows going to be?
The shows are going to be at the Bret Harte Theater.
Oh, they are. Okay.
In Angels Camp, yes, right at the high school.
Great. So that's 24, 25, 26?
August 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Okay. All right, now we've got that out of the way. Carrie has her guitar with her. Kaylee, I am so sorry. I knew I was going to do that, Kaylee. Kaylee, let us hear something. And actually tell us what you're going to play for us, because I'm really intrigued.
So I've been working on this song. Like, it's not a song I wrote, but just I really like this song, and it's actually super easy to play. It's called Ho Hey by the Lumineers.
Oh, yeah. fantastic. We'd be
you.
standing up and clapping, but we disconnect from everything. That is really cool, and it takes something to be able to do that just kind of sitting there on your own, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Did you, when did you first pick up a guitar?
I was in 7th grade, so probably about 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it really easy for you to pick up playing it, or?
Actually, like, honestly, it took a bit. It was a few days, but then I kind of started, like, catching on really easily. Music has kind of just been, like, a thing for me ever since I was little. Like, I always sang all the time. So I think that was just kind of a next step that was just, it wasn't that hard for me.
And so you pick up the guitar and you just sort of have a feel for how it works, and then you made it work, or did you take some lessons or classes? Or?
I didn't. I just taught myself. I've taught myself every single instrument. My grandma got me lessons actually, like, earlier this year, and I kind of, like, outgrew him. So now we just kind of jam together. Like, that's basically all I go over there for.
Hey, that's kind of cool too, though, right?
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then the guitar and the ukulele are basically fingered about the same, right?
Yeah.
So that makes it kind of easy, so you can kind of jump around from any of those stringed instruments, right?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Just the chords are the same. I mean, obviously the ukulele's smaller, but
Sounds kind of fun too. Yeah. And even ukuleles come in all sizes, just about like guitars, so you can get all over the sound spectrum with them. What do you enjoy most about performing?
I just like singing. I like seeing people reacting, like going to a whole bunch of live shows. The crowd is just like amazing. Like, seeing all that kind of stuff, the reactions that people have to the music, and the fact that they can relate or they can't, just, it's cool.
Yeah, and it's a great exchange of energy. Because
Yeah.
when you've got a great audience, you're going to give a better performance,
Yeah.
right? Because you get kind of amped up because of the energy they're feeding you.
That's what I like found out going through the rounds. So it was like the more I engaged, because I sang songs and I was like, you guys have to know this song, so sing with me. Like, that kind of stuff really got them a lot more pumped about the shows than
That's
just.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's neat. Now, Steve, as you're running something like Calaveras Has Talent, and you sort of work on the raising the money part and then the spending the money part or the giving the money away part, I think I can imagine the answer to this question, but which part is more fun?
All of it.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know it was going to be a second job when I started doing it, but thankfully Neil's been there to help.
Neil Yelmer.
Oh yes, has been there to help. And
my band director and maybe yours.
Yeah.
Yep.
So all runs together in this county, and it's just. It was fun to do the first one, and we got to do it again. And then the third one, it was, we got to do it again. And this year it's been, we're doing it again. And, just changing it up this year, though, has been exciting. I think it's got some new life in it, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And see who comes, and we'll see how it goes.
Sure.
Trying to do it all in one weekend, I think, is gonna save our necks, because we were doing it every other weekend, and it was you got to set up everything and then take it down, set it up.
If it's Tuesday, I'm at, and if it's Thursday, I'm at. Yeah. So it could
so
get
now
a little
it's
overwhelming.
just all one setup and all one teardown.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, it'll make it a lot easier.
And you said it's going to be basically the young people performing the first night.
Yes.
The adults the second night, and then kind of the grand finals on the Sunday. And is there a public component, or do judges do all the adjudicating for
this year, because we're having it all in one weekend, we're going to have consistency with judges, because usually every performance, not everybody can spend four different weekends with you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so we've gotten it so that we should have the same judges the whole time, and so they'll see how each person does, from the beginning to the end. And I think the hardest thing to do is that second song, that second performance, because you run out there with your best one first, and then your second one, you got 2 days to practice.
You've got it to
nail it down.
And it's kind of funny, and I'm not going to mention the name of the show that this is sort of compared to, but that's always something that I look at watching it is, okay, that first song was great.
Right.
Your audition was fantastic. And maybe, Kailie, you can speak to this. How do you come up with that next song? If okay, I've poured my heart into this one and it's going to be great, and I know the judges are going to love it, what do you do for those next 2 or maybe 3 songs that you have to perform?
I honestly, what I did every time was learn something new, like completely.
Oh, really?
I just started it over.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was obviously a song I'd listened to before, but it wasn't one that I knew on guitar, maybe didn't know all the words to. Like, yeah, that's how I picked my next songs.
Okay, and this is my dumb, not very musically inclined lyrics question. Have you come across lyrics in songs that you thought were one way, and
Yes.
when you learn the song, it's, oh, really? That's what they're saying?
I have an inside joke with one of my friends with the song Africa. We thought it was I Guess It Rains Down in Africa for the longest time. And I look up the words and it's I Bless the Rain. So
As Steve nods and shakes his head. And
Misheard lyrics.
that's really, you know, and for me, and Steve can maybe relate to this, there was I Want a New Drug from Huey Lewis and the News, and everybody thought it was I Want a New Truck, and some other people had some other stuff. So I kind of love it when people, you know, learn the song. And something I forgot to ask you is, do you actually read music, and do you do it that way, or are you?
I can read music mostly for like piano. I don't know. I don't see, because the tabs and stuff, I can do tablature for guitar and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm really good at tablature, not so much at piano. Sheet music, yeah.
Cool, yeah, because music, well, and for me, the piano part was an awful lot to look at because you've got two hands to worry about. But on the guitar, it always seemed like it was a little bit easier, but...
Yeah, it definitely is, the way they have that set
And
up.
when you write a song, do you write out all the music too?
Yeah, I have, sometimes first I'll type out the lyrics on my phone and record it. If it's like in a place where I don't have my book with me, then I have a lyric book that has like even the sheet music for the chords and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Steve, when all of these folks are performing, do you see that it's usually the kids that are more nervous and maybe some of the adults are kind of helping them along and encouraging them, or do some of us older folks get more keyed up for the performances?
I think the first year, nobody knew what was going on, so that's when it was really, you'd see some panic behind the stage. But usually it's just, you know, Mom, go away, I'm going backstage now with the kids. And the adults just run back there, and they just get ready to go. You know, the last 2 years, it seems like we just push play and the show goes.
Wow.
And we just sit there in the back, and, you know, the scores are coming in, and Neil and I never look. We just see it all go, kind of come in and out. Yeah, and we just make sure people are where they're supposed to be, and we end up just helping, you know. Do they need another mic out there? Does somebody else have to push the piano? You know, we just try to make sure that goes right.
That's great. So that means you've got a nice, well-oiled machine kind of producing this whole thing.
Yes.
What, and maybe this is a trick question, I don't intend it that way, what are some of the biggest sponsors from the county that are really helping out the program?
Definitely the hospital, St.
Mark
Joseph.
Twain
Mark
Medical
Twain,
Center?
sorry.
That's okay.
Mark Twain has been a big sponsor. I'm going to draw blanks.
That's okay. Like I said, I didn't mean it to be a trick question. But, and I know there's a website, but I'm spacing on what it is.
It's calaverasuYouth.org.
Okay.
And what you find on that website is you'll find the mission, what we're doing, what the history of it was. But you'll find links to Calaveras Has Talent. And eventually we'll have the link up there in hopefully a few days that allows you to buy the tickets for the show.
Oh, great. Okay.
So we get a few purchases there, and we get a few donations to the site. So you can always donate, calaverasuYouth.org/donate. You can always donate right through PayPal. It comes right to our bank account. It's no strings attached, and you get a nice little letter from us for a tax write-off.
And kids get new sousaphones and...
New sousaphones,
all kinds
fixing
of stuff.
tuba cases, fixing tubas.
I was going to mention when you were talking about music teachers having to buy supplies, people don't realize it, but that music is expensive.
Well, it's not only that. You know, you find, you know, just our kids going to school now, they got to have the pencils, the pens, paper. The teachers don't have those supplies. And when you get to music, there's no mouthpieces, there's no reeds, there's no valve oil, there's nothing. And so... How
much is a clarinet reed now? That's how far out of touch I am.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I think they were about $1.50 when I was a kid, but that's too many years ago.
It could be $3 or $4 now. But, you know, and I've heard Angela and David both say, you know, just getting a score of music is a couple $100.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
So, you know, just buying the music to perform at their band is huge.
It's
and so,
really
you know,
something.
that's why there's so much fundraising going on their end. And and whatnot.
Well, and it's great that this organization is doing so much to help.
Right. We're really trying to encourage the youth to get in the program, because you grow that program from the bottom up. It really kind of sustains itself.
So are you guys able to help out, some of the, because our elementary schools are kind of hurting for music the most. Do you help out with having some musicians come in and play for kids and help teach, that kind of stuff?
We helped with the ukulele program down in, I believe it was either Mark Twain or Copper.
Oh, that's right, down in Copper.
Yes, and then I think we helped out down in Jenny Lynn. We helped Mr. Wise out.
Yeah.
There's a new music teacher this year for elementary in Calaveras Unified.
Oh, great.
We haven't hooked up with them yet, but we'll be able to...
Give them time, they'll be calling you for a donation. Right?
Yeah, yes. And Mr. Wise needed music stands a few years ago. So we were able to get him all the music stands.
That's great.
So,
all right, now we're down to just the last couple of minutes. So, Kailie, I want you to tell folks out there what they need to think about as they come to watch the show. What should they be looking for, and what should they look forward to?
Well, there's just a variety of different styles of musics and voices and ages. That's something that's really cool to see. To see like someone like my little brother. I know he'll be so nervous. Yeah, he's gonna be so nervous. But then to watch someone else the next night that's like 30 something, that's it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. And for those performers that are gonna be getting up there, what are your words of advice for stepping on the stage and walking up to that mic?
It's gonna be so nerve-wracking, and the lights are gonna probably blind you. But if you just focus over everyone's head and sing the best you can, I recommend standing up because it's a lot easier. You're not crunching your diaphragm.
It's easier to project.
It'll be a lot better.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic, Kailie. Well, I'm actually going to editorialize a little bit here. I do this every once in a while on my show. So, Steve Baum, I want to thank you for being here with the Calaveras Youth Organization, calaveras.youth.org.
Yes.
Double check that website, because you'll get lots of information there about this program, about how you can donate and how you can contribute. And Kailie Osborn, I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. And I want to thank you for that performance, because it was really sweet. And now I'm going to talk to our viewers and tell them music in our schools is one of the most important things there is. And it's one of those things that seems to be the first thing to go when state legislators and then subsequently, sadly, our local school boards have to deal with what to cut next. So your support for groups like the Calaveras Youth Organization is indispensable in keeping music alive, not just for our kids today, but for adults in the future. So support Calaveras Has Talent, and until next time, I'm Mike Taylor. Enjoy.